Alright, welcome back to Space Station 14. This will be another round taking place on Wizard's Den's Lizard server. We're going to be on a bit of a hurry this time around. This will be using replay once again, so you won't be able to see my exact UI. I'm currently a thief whose objectives, amongst others, are to steal the thermoelectric generator. Unfortunately for the station, it just so happens that this station, Plasma Station, runs almost exclusively on the thermal generator, the tag. Now I get lucky, there's nobody in the tag room, despite it being the main power generator. So I just quickly yoink it away, before anybody looks at it too funny. Now if you do hook up all the solar panels and run the antimatter engine, you can sustain the station somewhat, but as you'll see later, this will not exactly be an option. Anyway, I quickly steal the tag, the part I need, the middle, I think. Unless it was any part, doesn't really matter. I steal a part, and I hide it over here in space. So it'll be somewhat harder to find. It's just a temporary hiding location though. I need a jetpack to hide it somewhere out in space where people won't be able to find it. Since this is the main power generator, people will be quite incentivized to look for it once they know that it's missing. Anyway, as I make my way to try and acquire a jetpack, this happens. An announcement from nuclear operatives who are declaring war on the station. Now, this is not good in any situation, but now that I have stolen all their power-making apparatus of the station, this means that the nuclear operatives are gonna have quite the advantage over us, and that's bad for me too. I can't exactly give the tag back. I do need to live to escape on the escape shuttle, which means that there's only two things that can happen. Either we win against the nuclear operatives, which is not looking good, or we call evac and I just make it on. Anyway, acquire the jetpack so I can hide the tag a bit better. As you can see, we're struggling a tiny bit, but that's fine. I've used a cargo shuttle, I think, and because of the war announcement, we now have all access, so that makes things easier. I used it to check in cargo where the automated trade station was, so I could take a flight there and hide the tag somewhere out there. Anyway, somebody on the cargo shuttle is there and could see us. Well, they're probably too busy piloting, looking at the screen of the computer to see us. Anyway, we make it to a side of the ATS. One that probably won't be too visible. The solar array back here. This was before all the changes to ATS. You can't see it, but I'm currently trying to use my Thieves tools, which I have. Nothing important that won't really come into play. I'm going to place down my beacon here and make sure that the tag is in its range. In this little hidey hole. I'll also be stealing all my other items that I need while people are struggling to get power up. Now, this is a bit later, like 20 minutes later. The nuclear operatives still haven't made contact on the station. But now we can call evac. So we call evac and destroy the recall console so the nuclear operatives can't break in here and recall evacuations. This is mostly good for me. I've been trying. I was hanging around the bridge all this time trying to call evac as soon as possible. So it's good that other people were on board with that idea too. It was mostly just for me, selfishly. Anyway, we make sure to steal the shuttle boards, not the shuttle boards, the announcement boards, the communication consoles boards, whatever, the boards so people can't remake the consoles to re-call evac again. I make my way to the tech vault to grab the last spare board. When... Oh, and I've grabbed it, and I'm heading to space to just throw them in space. When... Get attacked by a snake. Won't be much of an issue, except the station's not that armed because of all the power issues. And I can't fight back because since I'm a thief, I'm a pacifist. Anyway, we're lucky to have some help nearby. Because otherwise people probably would not have bothered to come and save us. We make our way to med to get healed. You can see people are still having power issues, but it's not hopeless. It's just not good. When the nuclear operatives coming from the south start murdering everybody in mid, so I just quickly escape from there. I think we have all access, so we can just leave through the north. I'm trying to make sure that people are going to contain the nuclear operatives in med, since it's right next to evac. So the nukies do manage to make it out of there. They'll be able to attack evac afterwards, which is not good because I want to be on evac and leave there. Anyway, try and save this here paramedic, so he doesn't have to cross the crossfire to escape. As you can see, now that the airlocks are down, I feel a bit safer that evac won't be breached too easily. So I make my way there. There's a couple of people waiting. I check to see how things are. When I notice this little message here that said that somebody is wielding a submachine gun, so I try to wall us in. But the nuclear operatives also now have all access, so they can just open the airlocks, which usually is only an engineer thing. Anyway, after the massacre, a paramedic manages to come in afterwards and saves me specifically. Which is nice for me. They take cover. Hide in this little maintenance tunnel. There's still some fighting going on. But since we're somewhat hidden, it should be good. Also here, because of the replay, we can hear the sound of a lone operative spawning. Won't come into play. Anyway, we're not looking so hot. We do have our health regened, but because of the lack of blood, we're going to be slowly dying again. But evac has been here for a bit now. It's now on the point of leaving. I don't want to risk going over to the open entrance, so instead I use space to get on evac. What I didn't know is that the crew won the fight against the one nuclear operative that made their way to evac, so the way was clear. Anyway, my health is rapidly getting worse, so I try to stabilize it a bit. Mostly by how the screen is shaking right now. Now we make our way on the outside of evac. If I can take out the thruster and attach a chair, I can just hide out here. Or have a crate or something. But we don't have the time. 10 seconds. I panic and just cross my fingers that it'll work. And it doesn't. I get launched to space. So, I'll be trying to stabilize myself a bit by throwing every single item in my inventory that isn't a steal objective. I was surprised how well the crew did, considering that they didn't have much power, and because it was war, the nuclear operatives have more budget to kill us more better. It was quite a close call thing.
Attention.
Anyway, there's not much to do once you're in this space. Since I was ejected out, I could try and make my way back on station like I'm doing right now, but it won't serve much of a purpose since it's about to be nuked. At least that's what I'm thinking. Though I don't know that for a fact. And now I've thrown away pretty much everything I could have. Including my ID and my jumpsuit. To reflect on what happened. It was quite a close call, really. When I stole the tag, I knew it was gonna hurt the station, but I didn't know it was gonna be a nuclear operative round, especially one that declares war. And I was too busy stealing things to really help with the power setup. But we had some fun. We managed to steal the tag at the very least. And the nuclear operatives, ironically, engaged the nuclear bomb near the tag. Too bad I already stole it and destroyed it pretty much. Also, as you can see, 3 people had to steal the Bible. And oh, that was an entire side story. I had to look everywhere for the Bible. It was actually the chaplain had took both copies of the Bible and went to cryo. So since we had all access, I could just take the items out of cryo to take them back. Thankfully, we have the lobby music to remind us of what we did. Ah well, it was fun. And many things had many events weaved and intertwined to create this outcome. Oh well. In any case, see you guys next time. Okay, bye, okay, bye, okay, bye, okay, bye, okay, bye.